now I am joined by the guest of the evening, Mr. Steve Pierce, a gentleman who really needs no introduction, because if you follow the Travis Walton case at all, you would know that this gentleman was inside the truck the night that Travis was abducted. Steve, it's really my pleasure to have you on this show. Thank you so much for being with us tonight on Inside the Jackal's Head. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. Hey, thank you for having me.
No, like I said, the pleasure is all mine. Travis Walton, and I said it earlier in the show, is one of the main reasons why I got into ufology as a kid, why I got into the subject, why I wanted to do a little research and wanted to do shows eventually on it. Art Bell played a big part in becoming a radio host, but it was really Travis Walton and that experience that got me into the subject itself. And I've spoken to Travis. I've had him on the show. He's a great guy. I mean, I have no ill will at all towards anything he said in the last couple of decades, because I believe him 100%. I think he really had that experience. But I've always wanted to get the point of view of somebody else who was there. And thank you for contacting me and making this happen, because, I am really just amazed by the whole thing that happened with Travis. And, to get your point of view of what happened that night, I think is very important for everybody in ufology to listen to, especially those serious researchers like myself. Let's start from the very beginning. You guys were a crew. You were workmen.
Yeah. Well,
tell us exactly how it happened.
Huh?
Now, tell us from your point of view how that night happened.
Okay, there was 7 of us, and 2 of them were kind of new. John Gillette wasn't new, but John Gillette and Mike Rogers were brother-in-laws, and John came up with another guy named Alan Dallas. I'm not Alan Dallas, Dwayne Smith. And so that Monday we started off with a new crew, because a week or so before my uncle and cousin and another guy quit, so we were short-handed. And we all used to meet at Mike's house, and I think it was a Wednesday morning, and we all met, and we were all still. Usually, one day during the week, somebody missed, because this was really hard work, and I think it was Wednesday, and in the middle of the week, and we all met at Mike's house again. We all loaded up, and we all went out there, and it took 45 minutes or so, and we went to Heber, and then we went back onto dirt roads, and we get there, and Mike tells us what we have to do, and we have to work over, because we get paid on how much we get cut. We get paid by the acre, and
right.
And so we get out there and we're working, and like any other day, and the day went on, and we all loaded up, and it was starting to get dark, and out there, once it gets dark, you're not going to see nothing, because there ain't no electricity out there. You can see a lot of stars. And so we all loaded up, and we was in a 7, there were 7 of us in a 2-seated pickup truck. There was 3 in the front seat. Mike Rogers was driving, the crew boss. Kenny Peterson was in the middle. Travis Walton was on the shotgun side in the front seat next to the door. Behind him, in the back seat, next to the window, was Alan Dallas, then me, then John Gillette, and then Dwayne Smith was on the far left behind Mike. Dwayne Smith, they took him out of the movie. They took him completely out of the movie.
Why did they do that? Why did they take him out of the movie?
I don't know why. They changed my name. They said they couldn't find me, but I guess they really wanted to. I was related to Half That Mountain back then, I had all kinds of relatives who lived up there.
Now, in the movie, who played the part of you was Henry Thomas, right?
Yeah, it was Henry Thomas. Yeah. He's the kid in the movie. I'm the 17-year-old. Mike thought I was 18 when he hired me, but I was only 17. I am the kid in the movie. And then John Gillette, he's one of the other guys, and they changed his name. He's the one with the cowboy hat on, but he doesn't like that because he didn't wear a cowboy hat on. This was the 70s, and he had long hair, and, And Kenny Peterson, the one that called the cops, they changed his name. You know, so
Was
they changed.
did they change it to, was it David Whitlock? I think in the movie that was his name.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Kenny Peterson. You know, so they changed his name too, and Dwayne Smith, they took him completely out of the movie. He's not even in the movie. His character. But you know, it's my character because I'm the kid. You know, if you look at the polygraph test, I can prove it. You know, because of the polygraph test, and so because I was there. But
Let me ask you, being in there and watching the movie many years later, how accurate was it? Even though they changed some of the names and admitted one of the characters, you know, from the actual
the
storyline,
movie's mostly
how accurate?
wrong.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of the stuff in there is right. Like when Travis, the part about Alan Dallas chopping down the tree, and almost hitting Travis. That's true. I saw that.
Okay.
And I was the first one to take the polygraph test. When when we took the polygraph test, it shows me going in there first.
Right.
Henry Thomas going in there first. His name is Greg Hayes. Okay. Greg Hayes.
That's you.
That's what was my name in the movie. Was Greg
Right.
Hayes. I think it was Greg Thomas Hayes or something like that.
Something like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least they got that part. They got that part of accurately. I mean, they got the
yeah,
whole thing
but
with
the
Dallas.
part about me going out there with the next day looking for Travis, that's not true. I wasn't out there.
Okay.
You know, when they came to my door, the next morning they were going to go out there and look for him. And my mom was on the front porch, and I told her what happened the night before, but I don't think she really believed me until the next morning. But I can hear them telling my mom that you know, we think Travis is dead, and we're going to go out there and we're going to find a body. You know, so I just went out the back door and I grabbed my boots and my cowboy hat, and I ran out the back door, and I was gone. I hid all day.
You wanted no part of that, huh?
Well, would you go out there with 100 cops and look for a dead body?
No, not at all. No, man. I do not. I cannot say I blame, especially at your age. I cannot blame you. No, heck no.
Well, John Gillette told me that when he went out there, that he had a cop that stayed right beside him the whole time. The cop kept telling him, "You might as well confess right now. You know, we know you guys did something to him." And I thought they was going to go out there and find the body. I just knew they were going to find him dead out there somewhere.
Now,
for 5 days, I thought Travis was dead.
As far as the actual, you know, the ship and the beam and all that stuff that happened in the movie, was that pretty fairly accurate to what you saw from your point of view?
Do what now?
The ship itself, when you guys pulled up to the light.
The ship's not even close. Neither is the beam.
Okay.
I was so, you know, I knew this movie came out in '93.
Right.
I was at a truck stop in Barstow, California, and I went in there and I get some fuel, and I just got loaded, and I was going to New Orleans, and I went to get fuel, and went to the fuel island to pay for the fuel desk to pay for the fuel, and I went to the restroom, and on the way out I went to the TV room because you know they got big TV rooms in truck stops, and I see if anybody was going to drive for the rest of the night. And it's about 1:00 in the morning, and there's Travis Walton on HBO talking about the movie Fire in the Sky, and that's how I knew they made a movie.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and I didn't even see the movie until I think it was 2009 before I actually saw the movie, and the only reason I saw it was because of my youngest daughter. You know, because I broke my neck and I had surgery done, and I was home, and me and my daughter watched it together. So I didn't. It came out in '93, and I didn't watch it until 2000. I think it was 2009.
Wow!
And the
That's
first
amazing.
couple times, it made me so mad to watch it, I couldn't watch it. But the last couple of weeks, I've been watching it a couple times just to see what the movie actually is, so I can, you know, be accurate about it, you know. But for a long time, I wouldn't watch it at all. It'd make me mad.
You know,
that ain't
Steve,
what happened.
Steve, I had Travis on a couple years ago. That was one of the biggest interviews that I really wanted to do, was to get Travis on it and talk to him about this case. And I asked him, you know, all kinds of questions. And at the end of the day, it was very clear that he wasn't happy with the movie either. There's stuff in there that he wished they would have done differently. There's, of course, the whole scenes with the aliens and stuff that he really wished.
You know what makes me mad about the whole movie? This is what makes me mad about the whole movie. The National Enquirer. It's through that movie, all the way through that movie, and that never happened.
Really?
I don't know why they put that in there. They got me holding a National Enquirer a couple times in there. That didn't happen, And that part just makes me mad, And when the cop looks through the, it shows me holding it, talking about it, going to work that day, and then that night when we come back in and we're at this cafe that never existed, we didn't go to a cafe. We went to the first place we stopped at was a sub phone station. It was a substation, and there was 2 payphones on the side of the building there. And we stopped there, and King Peterson got out, and he's the one that made the phone calls, and he called the cops. He called the operator, and it got a hold, and they told him about a missing person, and King didn't say nothing about Travis, being zapped or anything. And so when we left there, we went farther into town, to the main highway where our gas station was, and we sat there on the main highway and waited for the police department showed up. We didn't walk into a restaurant, So.
What do you think they did that in the movie, though? Why do you think they revised history like that and changed what it really happened?
I don't know why they would do that, because I think the story of what really happened is better than what they came up with.
That's what I was saying when I was talking to Travis. It's clear that he is not happy with the movie, and we both came to the conclusion after reading the book. Really, I came to the conclusion. I even said to him, the story that that he wrote in the book, what really happened between you guys, is more interesting and is better than what they actually showed in the movie. Like the whole thing with the aliens and the Nordic-looking aliens coming down and walking in from one corridor to another. To me, that would have been great to see on the movie. I don't know why they omitted that.
Well, that part about the National Enquirer really makes me mad, and the part about Mike Rogers dropping us off and turning around and looking for him by himself. Come on.
That never happened. That never happened either. Travis
no way. Mike would have never. Not one of us would have had enough. Are we on cable or are we on AM/FM?
No. Well, we're on internet radio, but we do try to keep it clean. But
okay.
But you can use a word similar to the one you want to use.
None of us would have ever turned around by ourselves and went back after what we just went through by ourselves to look for somebody.
Yeah.
And it took us a while. We were out of the truck for at least 15 minutes, and then Kenny Peterson kept saying, and John Gillette kept saying, we have to go back and look for him. We can't leave him behind, So we all got back in that pickup and turned around and went and looked for him. And when we got there, we couldn't find him, And we looked. We had one flashlight, and we just couldn't find him. He was nowhere to be found. And that's when it started getting scary, because that's when they started talking about calling the cops. And I'm thinking, whoa, man. My poor mom. My dad just died like a year or two before this happened, and we've been driving this woman nuts. My dad died, and she left her with 6 boys, young boys, and we were driving Mason Police Department nuts. So she moved to Snowflake, where my grandparents live, and that's how we ended up there. You there?
Yeah, I'm listening.
I just heard
of. Well, let me ask you, let me segue a little bit here. We know the National Enquirer stuff. I have a feeling that a lot of the stuff that they put in the movie, like the National Enquirer stuff, the Mike Rogers going back by himself, there's certain things in the movie I think that was added in there almost to add a level of, of shadiness to the whole event, like to make it look like if you guys were lying in the movie. Do you think that could be one of the agendas behind the movie, to almost make it look like you were deceiving in a way, or that you were concocting the whole story?
I guess, they did make, it is a pretty good movie. You gotta admit, it's pretty cool to watch, I think they did a good job.
I'm telling you,
they didn't tell the story right.
if you're just into the subject and you've never heard of the story and you watch that movie, it's a very impressionable movie. It does make an impression on you. So, like I said,
Well,
I saw it as a kid.
It's giving the people the wrong impression about the Grays. They look at this happened. They're going to kidnap us and do this to us. Come on, man. I mean, I've never had really bad experience with them.
Now, have you had further experience?
Me down on a thing and put a thing in my eyeball. That's never happened to me.
Well, that leads to another question, Steve. Have you had further experiences with abductions?
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay, let's go into that because that's very interesting. Because a lot of abductees, and now you weren't abducted that night. It was Travis was abducted, but you shared the experience.
Do you know who Yvonne Smith is?
Say it again?
You know who Yvonne Smith is? Yvonne
Smith? No, I do not.
I've been working with her. She's been hypnotizing me, and I've seen her 5 times, and she's come out with some stuff, and I was abducted in, I think it was 93. I think it was.
Do you think it was by the same beings that abducted Travis?
I don't know yet. I think I really don't want to get into this. Because it's still going, we're still not done yet. So,
gotcha. But you are an experiencer.
Yeah, she found some stuff out, huh?
But you're an experiencer more than just being there that night. Then you've had your own personal experience with the same, or at least the Greys. We'll call them just the Greys. We don't know if they're these.
Yeah, I have never seen nothing that Travis saw. The ones that look like us with astronauts.
Okay.
I've never seen those. I've only seen Greys. I've only seen 4 of them. And I've never seen anything that, the lizard kind. I've never seen those. There's a lot of other kinds that they show that I've never seen. I've only seen Greys.
Now, what got you interested in doing the hypnotic regression therapy and trying to did you have a memory that maybe that came to you, or, what got you into the whole idea of, let me see if I've had an experience?
Do I now?
Like, what got you into the mindset of having yourself, have a regression session with a therapist to try to, see if you were an experiencer also?
At first, I didn't want to do it. I met Yvonne Smith about 2 years ago. Travis introduced us, and he wanted me to talk to her, and at first I went to her office in LA and everything. We had a talk, and I seen her at a couple conferences, and we talked again. And at first, I didn't want to do it. For a year, I didn't want to do it. I wasn't going to do it at all. I even told her, you can't. I'm not going to do this, And so I finally, maybe there's more. Maybe I should just do it once, So I did it once, just to go back, because Travis wanted me to see too, So he's the one that introduced me to Yvonne Smith. And well, they did the first time. It was done in L.A. and it's nothing about fire in the sky. And I've got a 12-minute clip on it, and I kind of freak out on the first one. But they put me back when I was 17, and the first one kind of freaked me out. I've done 5 of them, and it seems to get better as you do more. But I think I'm going to do one more and not do them anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I've got to finish what we started,
Right. Now, are you the only one other than Travis in the group that's had experiences outside of what happened to Travis?
I don't know. I don't see those guys. I have never seen. I see John Goulet at a couple conferences. As far as Dwayne Smith, I don't even know where he's at, and Kenny Peterson. He was supposed to do a conference with us in Show, Arizona this past summer, and he didn't show up, so I haven't seen him in 38 years.
Wow.
The badass in the movie Alan Dallas, he passed away of a heart attack 2 years ago now. They found him at a red light, leaning over the steering wheel, and he had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And as far as Mike Rogers goes, I haven't seen Mike Rogers since I left Snowflake.
Now,
so I don't see none of these guys.
You've moved around a lot. Tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that's happening since this happened. you've moved around a lot because you've had people, of course, attacking you, and this has been kind of a nightmare for you, hasn't it?
Well, at first it was. I guess it's always been a nightmare. I guess I still have. After you get hypnotized, you have a lot of nightmares afterwards.
I can imagine.
The first time they did it to me, I was waking up with real bad sweats and screaming, and that's why I don't even want to do it, man. Because it brings it all back, Well, where was we at?
No, but you say it brings it all back, but I mean, at the same time, you said earlier that the movie paints a bad picture of the Greys. Now, were your experiences from your aggression, were the experiences negative, or have they been
My
positive?
experience?
Yeah, they've been positive. I mean,
Mine's been
what
positive.
level? They've been positive.
That I can remember, and I have a guardian alien. I have an alien that takes care of me, so.
A guardian alien?
My guardian alien, huh?
A guardian alien.
Yeah.
Hey, it could be what people mistake as guardian angels. Angels,
That's
aliens.
Right.
I think it's, honestly, no jokes aside, I think it's all relative, to be honest with you. I think angels, demons, all that stuff that we have in mythology and lore, I think all that comes from mistakenly identifying them as those things when they really are extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just my personal theory.
Well, I
mean, I don't know how you feel about. I don't know how you feel.
How deep do you want to go on
this? Well, we have another 35 minutes. We can go pretty deep on this one if you like. I do have to take a break in about 10 minutes or so. Let's start it off. What are your beliefs? I don't want to get into politics or religion too much, but I do like this part
I ain't talking about politics, but I'll talk about my religion.
I like this part of the conversation because I do believe that it is all relative. Like I said, I do think the aliens
so do I.
have been for a long time misinterpreted as demons, a ghost, all kinds of different activities. Let's speak about your alien guardian. How have been your experiences separately from what happened to Travis? How has been your experiences with the guardian alien, and what's going on with you at this moment?
I totally agree with that statement.
What?
What he just said.
She agrees
with
me.
Do what now?
She agrees with me. That's great. Finally, somebody on this show agrees with me. But no, seriously.
Oh, you heard that? I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's cool. But Steve, no, seriously though. What has your experiences been like with this guardian? Because I'm really intrigued about this guardian alien. I'm intrigued anytime somebody tells me about guardian angels or guardian aliens or anything like that. And this is the first time I actually hear.
I broke my neck and drove 1,000 miles.
Okay.
She got me. She got me home. So, so I might have been hallucinating, but I got home. I don't think I was hallucinating, no.
What was it you broke your neck? Was it in 07?
Huh?
When was it you broke your neck?
In 08.
08. Oh, okay.
I fell off a load, and my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vertebrae all one piece.
Oh,
It was
wow.
pushing against the spinal cord, and it was fixing to snap it, and I would have been paralyzed from the neck down. So they cut me in the front, and then they cut me in the back, and they stretched it out, and fixed it.
Ouch. Heck of a spinal fusion, huh?
It hurts.
Yeah, I bet it does. My mother just went through spine fusion surgery. It's not easy to deal with at all. It's a tough surgery. You're lucky to be alive, so you must really have some kind of a guardian, looking over you, to have that kind of operation and still be here on radio with us on Inside the Jackal's Head. Again, guys, you're listening to Steve Pierce.
I broke 10 ribs, messed up the rotor cuff, and
who's lucky to be here. He's lucky to be with us tonight. Steve. Going back to what we were talking about with your personal abductions, you say you have positive abduction or positive encounters with these beings, I guess would be the best way to put it. Do you feel that anytime like you've been taken like against your will, or have you gone voluntarily when they've come for you, or have they come for you? Have you been on a ship at any point?
Well, I really don't want to get too far in this because Yvonne doesn't want me to talk about it yet, but I'll tell you one story, okay? I was in New Mexico, and I was going up Highway 666, and they changed it to 491, and because it was the mark of the beast, and people didn't like the 666 on it. And I was heading towards Shiprock, and I noticed there's light behind me, and then it got closer, and then it got kind of like on top of me, and then I seen this gas station out in the middle of nowhere. It was closed, and I pulled in there, and I got out of the semi, and how semis got a steps on it, get up into it, and I was standing on the top step, holding on to the door and looking up, and it was right above me. I could see it right in front of me, and it wasn't as bright as the one I seen with Travis. When Travis got zapped, that is the brightest thing I've ever seen in my life. When I think it got brighter and brighter. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I was looking at it, and I looked down the highway, and I noticed some headlights were coming. And I was thinking if they were able to see this or not. And then I looked back up, and then I looked back down at the headlights to see how close they were. And the next thing I remember, it was the next morning, and they were beating on my semi door, telling me that I couldn't park there no more. I have to move because they're fixing to open the store. And I had like 4 hours missing.
Wow.
And at the time, I didn't think about it because I didn't know about this. I was never into this. I've been running from this my whole life. Ask anybody that knows me.
Do you think that's the reason why you're having further experiences? Because you weren't interested and it just kind of like landed on your lap, so to speak?
Yes, it seems like this, it never stops. I mean, I can go 10 years without seeing one, and eventually I'll see one.
Now, it's funny because Travis hasn't had any further contact that he's aware of. He told me that he's never seen anything else or been abducted again or anything like that. What
He's
do you
never
think
said that.
Well, to me, personally, he said he hasn't had any.
What I've always heard is he says he doesn't say either way. He's not saying he has, and he says he says he hasn't. He doesn't say either way.
Oh, on the show, he actually said that not that he's aware of. He hasn't had it.
Yeah, well, he won't say either way.
But here's the question, though. How come you've been having these experiences? And Travis is not even sure that he's had any other experiences.
Do what now?
Why you, in other words?
Why me?
Yeah.
I think we've all had, everybody that was there that night has been abducted.
Multiple times?
And yes, I don't, I've never talked to these guys, but I'm pretty sure that something's happened to them. Mm. And I don't know why I don't know why it happened to us. There's a reason, but I just don't know the reason yet. I will know one day.
Now, do you think they'll ever update the movie or make another movie and get a little closer to like the facts? Would you like to be involved in something like that?
If they get enough signatures, Travis said, if you send them an email or whatever, I'm not sure how to do it, but just go on his website and say something. And if he gets enough people that will watch the movie, they'll make another movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it'll just take, I guess, a big backing from a big studio. I know Travis did tell me that he was interested in, redoing at least the alien abduction part, because he really was upset the way that came out. It's amazing how Hollywood tries to sensationalize events and make stuff up just to kind of push an agenda. And you're absolutely right. I mean, when you watch that movie, the Greys do come off as completely frightening and just totally scary, like monsters. They really did push
and
that
they're not,
part.
There's bad in every race. There's more than just one type out there. But they're not all bad. They're not all out here to, I think they're trying to kind of like save our asses. If we don't straighten up, we're going to blow each other up, man.
Yeah, no kidding. We're going in that direction already, aren't we? Nuclear bombs dropping, my friend. Guys, stick around. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're actually due here for a break now. Steve, be still, my friend. We're going to be back in a couple minutes with you. Just stay there on the line. And, guys, if you want to get in on the phones, the lines will be open. The easiest way to get to us, of course, is 786-245-8127. You can also find us on Skype, by looking up PSN Radio, and you can Skype right into the conversation, and you can ask Steve right here any questions you have about his abductions, post what happened with Travis, and of course, if you want to ask about something that happened that night with Travis, please go ahead and do so. Let's just stick it to the subject. That's all I ask. We'll be right back with more Steve Pierce right here on Inside the Jackal's Head. And I am live again with my guest of the evening, Mr. Steve Pierce, one of the gentlemen in the truck the night that Travis Walton was abducted. If you guys want to call in, ask him any questions, please do so. Again, the number is 786-245-8127. You can also look us up on Skype by looking up PSN Radio. If you guys want to check us out on Facebook, we're on there also. You can look up Inside the Jackal's Head right on Facebook and ask any questions through Facebook. By all means, please like the page and ask me anything you want on there. I will read them on the air. Now, Steve, we touched on something before we went on break that I want to get a little bit more into, and that's your religious angle and your religious beliefs. Considering that you went through something like this and you've had further experiences with, your own contact experiences, how has that affected your religious beliefs at all?
Well, I was raised Pentecostal, and the way I was raised, God is good, and the devil is evil. Anything's bad is from the devil. So that kind of confused me at the beginning, but I don't believe in the way that a lot of people believe in Jesus. I believe Jesus was a teacher and a prophet. Star-shaped, stuff like that. So, but I do believe in Jesus, and I believe that Adam and Eve got here by a little help with the aliens, though.
It's funny
because
go on. let me ask you something, because this is something that this is a conversation I actually had with somebody not long ago, and it was somebody who was extremely religious, a Christian, very, very Christian. And I said something to her that kind of blew her mind to the point that she stopped talking and walked away like in anger. My comment was, I asked her, do you believe in God, right? And she said, yeah, I believe in God. Of course I believe in God. God is, the Almighty, and my whole life I've believed in God. I go, you read the Bible, right? And she's like, yeah, of course I've read the Bible. I know the Bible inside and out. Okay, let me ask you, do you believe in extraterrestrials? What are extraterrestrials? Well, I don't believe in aliens. Of course not. Well, what are extraterrestrials? Well, they're not from here. Okay, where's God from? Heaven. Where's heaven? Not here. So, and by the mere definition, God is an extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
And that blew her mind. Steve, this lady got so upset, and she looked at me like, that's impossible. But it after like a few minutes, it made sense to her, I guess, and she replied back with, that actually was pretty brilliant, because it really is. At the end of the day, that's what, if there is a God, an almighty being that created everything, the heaven and the earth and the stars and the moon and the shine and Pluto and Walt Disney World and you and me and everybody, the God that created everything, he isn't from this planet, right? So he is an extraterrestrial. Now, it's funny how there's a religious doctrine that kind of denounces any existence of aliens or anything like that, but how do you feel about the Vatican coming forward now and saying that, actually aliens could be real? In fact, it doesn't go against laws of God or God's laws. It actually fits right in with God's bigger plan. I mean, I agree with that 100%. It's funny the Vatican's coming out with that, though, now, isn't it?
The what now?
The Vatican came out with that information.
Oh, the Catholic Church?
Right.
That kind of blew me away when they said that.
It's amazing that they came out and said, yeah, aliens could be a part of God's bigger picture. Why not?
Yeah.
Now, Steve, going back to your religious beliefs and going back to what the Vatican has said, has that changed the fundamentals at all, do you think, of what you believed growing up?
The way I grew up?
Right.
Well, I grew up, at first I thought this was, from the devil, at the beginning. But I don't believe that no more. I believe this is from, they're aliens and they're out there, and some people can see them, some people can't, and I don't know why. I ain't got that one figured out.
Some people, I guess, are chosen, and some people are not. I've always wanted to be chosen. I've often made the joke that I'm not one of these people that needs to have a light beam shined on them and knocked out unconscious and taken to a UFO on some kind of weird trans beamer thing. No, no, no. You can simply drop me a rope ladder. I will climb up to the ship. I'm here for them. Like, I wanted to go on that ride. I want to take that trip Travis took. I won't even get scared if I see a bunch of little gray aliens coming at me in a dark room. It doesn't bother me. Like, I want to have that experience. It never happens to me. And that upsets me because I want to have that experience that he had, experiences that you've had. Why do you think it is that some people don't have the experiences like myself who want it, and then people who are not even into the subject, have this happen to them?
I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know why they pick some of us. Some people say DNA. I don't know. Me and Travis got the same colored eyes. Maybe they like blue-eyed people. I don't know.
It could be I got brown eyes. Maybe that's why they don't want me.
See? Maybe that's the reason they're not coming over to your house.
I often joke is they don't take any Cubans. You never hear of a Cuban getting abducted by aliens. It's true though. You got to admit it. You never hear about a Cuban getting abducted by aliens. Now,
I really didn't get into this. So that when I first got into this, I didn't know all these stories about all these other people's stories that's going on in the world.
uh-huh.
I knew about Betty and
Barney
her and
Hill.
her husband's experience because that happened when I was a kid.
And a very famous story that not only happened a long time ago, but it was nearly verified by NASA because remember, Betty Hill said that she was shown a star map by the beings that abducted them, and she literally remembered the star map, pretty accurately, and she described it, what she saw to the hypnotic through the hypnotic regression, and she then described it to people and then went to NASA with it. And NASA took them about 10 years, but 10 years after the fact, they discovered the very same star constellation that she saw on the star map, which verifies her story. Unless she's a genius star astronomer that nobody knew about. Unless she's like the Mac Daddy of star astronomers, then she really was telling the truth. Unless she had technology bigger than NASA at that point, which she didn't. She was just a housewife. That's an amazing story. What do you think that that story has gotten of course, locked away as one of the most important ones in ufology? The Travis Walton story is one of the most important ones. But what do you think since that era we haven't really had another story like that? Because that doesn't happen anymore. You never hear about somebody like Travis or somebody like Betty and Barney Hill having those kind of experiences like that becomes that famous.
Maybe they're just getting smarter and we can't see them. I don't know. I don't know.
Are you a Doctor Who fan at all?
Whoa.
Exactly, Doctor Who. Are you a Doctor Who fan?
A Doctor Who? I don't know who it is.
You don't know who Doctor Who is? Oh my goodness. Well, it's a show that started 50 years ago. It's still on the air. It's gone through a lot of different actors over the years. It's about a time traveling doctor, basically. Not a medical doctor per se, but he calls himself the Doctor. And he's a time traveler from another planet called Gallifrey. And he travels in this little wooden, remember the old phone boxes that they used to have back in the UK? The blue phone boxes? Well, he has a time machine that looks like that, basically. It's like a theme or something that the time machine uses for people to, when they look at it, they just think it's a phone box, but it really is a time machine. So basically, he travels through space and time with that. But there's a race of beings that are gray that he encounters called the Silence, and it's brilliant, the idea that they had on the show with this race of beings, that basically when you see them, when you're able to see them, you understand what's going on, but the moment your eyes move away from them, you completely forget what happened. There's like some kind of technology they had where you completely forget that you even saw them. Do you think that might be kind of what's happening here, where they have some kind of a technology like that that actually could be accurate to what might be going on?
I really don't know. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know the answers to a lot of this stuff. I was never really into this, and I only came out a couple of years ago, and some strange things happened to me. But
I highly recommend Doctor Who, by the way.
There's a reason why they're showing themselves more, and a lot of things I don't want to talk about and I can't talk about, so I don't know how to answer these questions sometimes.
Well, I highly recommend, just as a fanboy, I highly recommend you get into Doctor Who. It's a great series. Just celebrated its 50th anniversary, too. It's a great, great show. And it deals with all kind of alien life and stuff like that. That's another thing. Look, Hollywood, for years, has been, I think, conditioning the world with contact with aliens, with the possibility of life on other planets. Shows like Doctor Who, shows like Star Trek, TV, movies like Star
I never
Wars.
watched that kind of stuff. Star Trek, the original Star Trek,
right?
Was that lousy actor in it, whatever his name is?
William Shatner, the Shatner.
That was before. 75.
Right.
But after that, I never watched Star Wars. I never watched, no kind of UFO movies. I didn't watch them, and I didn't even know this world even existed until I got hurt. I didn't know Travis went out in conferences. I didn't know this UFO world even existed until like 2009, 2010.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because you really did stay out of like the loop, out of everything that was going on. Somebody in the chat room, Scorpio, just made a comment saying that he likes how I'm trying to relate this stuff to science fiction. But you know what? The reason I relate it to science fiction is because I think a lot of our science fiction is done on purpose to condition us. It's not so much to kind of make you understand why, some of the stuff is happening in a jokey manner. It's just really, I think, some directors, some producers in Hollywood, some people in the the big wigs with the big money behind the scenes have been told to tell these kind of stories for a reason. And it's again, I think
that makes a lot of sense.
To condition us. Check this out. Not only does that make sense, every time, and Steve, I've researched this, looked into this. Every time there's a major blockbuster movie that comes out that has to do with aliens, there's a huge spike in the reports of abductions and reports of sightings in the U.S. When the movie Independence Day came out in the 90s, I think it was quadrupled the amount of abduction and sightings within that week of the movie's release, which came out, of course, on Independence Day. But that Independence week, there was a quadruple. It was like quadruple from the normal amount of people that were reporting sightings. I think there's a correlation to that. I think there is definitely some kind of correlation to Hollywood and what they're putting out as their propaganda and what's going on in the reality, in the real sense of what's going on with the alien phenomenon.
Well, if Hollywood's going to do a story, at least they're going to say it's true story. At least make it at least 80% true. 90 would be okay.
How close would you say that the story was though in the movie? I mean, not 80%, but what percentage would you give Fire in the Sky from what really happened?
Is that what really happened?
Right.
What I'd say it's probably 20% right.
Wow, really? That small of a percentage?
Yeah.
So in other words, they really
it's 80% wrong.
Oh man, that's horrible. What's terrible about that is that's the movie that a lot of people within ufology, use as an example of, one of the greatest stories in the world of ufology. And then when you look at that and you hear somebody say, "Well, it's about 20% accurate. The rest is all make-believe BS." That blows my mind.
Me and John was making a joke about it when they was talking. They says, "Well, at least they got us in the woods, right?"
Yeah, you're in the woods. You're in a truck. You got a guy named Travis and a guy named Mike.
Here, right?
I think you're not giving the movie enough credit. I think they got a little bit more accurate. I mean, there was a guy named Travis. He runs out of a truck. He gets hit by a beam. All this stuff really happened at some point. Now, you said that the UFO was a lot further up or further away.
Huh?
When you guys were in the truck, you said the UFO was a lot further away than they showed in the movie also, right?
I don't know. It was close enough to throw a rock at.
Oh, really? So it was pretty close then. Now, how big, I mean, from your assessment, I mean, I know this is a long time ago, but how big was this ship? I mean, how big in
About
diameter?
40 feet, 30 to 40 feet, maybe I'd say closer to 40 feet long.
About 40 feet. Yeah, you could fit a couple people in there easily.
And I'd say, I know, it looked like two cake pans on top of each other. Then it was It was solid white. See, that's what in the movie it looks like some kind of, I don't know, volcano looking thing. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be. And
Almost like a lava or molten lava or something under there.
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of stupid. What does that got to do with a spaceship anyway?
Well, it's alien technology, Steve. Who knows how they run their ships? I mean, it's alien, right? I mean, that's one thing, though, and I will say this for the fallacies in the movie. I will say this, that they did capture an alien feel to the ship and to the aliens.
Oh, yeah, the movie's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, it's not by any means a bad movie, if you watch it as a movie. And representing,
just watch it as a sci-fi movie.
Right, exactly. Representing, based on a true story, loosely based, because like you said, it's loosely based, considering they messed up all those facts. Now, let's move on from that because we don't have a whole lot of time here, Steve.
Well, I got one. If you guys really want to see a good one, Paranormal Witness on the Sci-Fi Channel. I think it comes on Wednesday nights. They did a thing on us last year, and the first one was an hour and a half long. And if you want to see all of us together, Kenny Peterson's there, John Gallett's on there, Mike Rogers on there, I'm on there. Of course, Travis is on there. Two of the cops that were involved in it, the head cop, Gillespie, he still don't believe us. He was there. The guy that took the polygraph test, he's in there. So if you want to see a good one, this is the best one. I would say this was, 90%, 99% accurate. It's almost 100% accurate. I mean, it's almost there.
How many polygraph tests have you taken over the years, Steve?
On this case or altogether?
Oh, on this case, on the Travis Walton one.
This one time when they dragged me in front of the courthouse and made me take it. Now, that was the most million. That day was a bad day, man.
Is that the one that came out?
You know how you feel when you get dragged in front of all these people and they think you killed somebody, and you're going to take a polygraph test?
Is that was the only test you took? Because I know Travis took multiple tests. Mike Rogers took a few tests.
Travis has taken.
I think it's like 6 or 7 at this
more.
point. Yeah, I think he's taken like 6 or 7. He said, but. This is the only one you've taken in the entire time? You've never taken another test? Because I know the first reported test, at least some reported that they were inconclusive. Is that correct?
Mine?
Well, in general, like all the guys. Like the very first time?
No. Mine was 97% accurate.
Okay.
Only Alan Dallas is the only one that came up that way. And he got all pissed off because they asked him if he killed Travis, and he got mad and ripped everything off, and he wouldn't answer the questions. He was saying, why are you asking me this kind of question? But that's the reason he didn't pass it, because he got all mad and ripped him. That's the way Alan was.
So they were pretty accurate then in the movie with Alan Dallas.
Yeah. Parts of it, yeah.
He was that kind of a guy. Just did his own thing.
No, not quite as an asshole that shows it on the movie, no. He was a good guy.
He was a good guy. Wow, that's amazing. I'm going to have to rewatch the movie now and take notes on the stuff that they messed up. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, Steve, moving on from this, like I said, we have only a little bit of time left, but, I wanted to talk about your website, because you do have a website, and I wanted to promote it here, StevePierce.soundfuturesdirect.com. Again, that's StevePierce.soundfuturesdirect.com. Tell us a little bit about the website.
It's just been up for the past week, and I'm just messing with it now, and put stuff up on there on shows and conferences and stuff, and let you know what's going on in the world, But it's kind of like a new toy. I'm not exactly I'm not too good with it yet.
Okay. Now, are you going to be posting stuff there, like from upcoming conferences? Do you have some upcoming conferences that you want to plug?
Yeah, I will be. I will be in Roswell, New Mexico, on the 4th of July at their Roswell. I'll be in Roswell on the 4th of July. I'll post that here in a couple weeks.
Very cool. And that's another case right there. How do you feel about the Roswell crash itself in 47?
My theory?
Yeah. By all means.
This is me now. I believe we shot him down.
Really?
I believe that it wasn't a crash. They didn't accidentally crash, and I believe that the military shot them down. But everybody's got their own little story about it. But that's my opinion.
So you definitely believe that something crash landed and it was shot
Well,
down?
look what started in '47. The CIA started in '47. Air Force started in '47. There's all kinds of government stuff that started in 1947. Doesn't that kind of like ring a bell?
That's true. And technology really has taken off like crazy since the 50s. I mean, it's been all kind of innovative stuff. It's amazing what we can do with computers and all kinds of things. Now, do you think a lot of the technologies we have now are really from that crash or from other crashes we've back engineered stuff?
I believe we learned a lot from them. I can't tell you exactly what, but yeah, I believe we've learned some from them.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Definitely Velcro. That has to be alien technology. How the heck do they stick together like that? I'll never get Velcro. I just don't understand Velcro. How does it work?
But they're here for a reason, and and someday they're going to show themselves. And I just don't know.
That's another good question.
Yet.
That's another good question. Do you think there will ever be disclosure on the subject?
Yes.
Like official disclosure.
I don't believe it's going to be tomorrow, like some people believe. But it's coming. We're not ready for it. I don't believe the world. I believe what happened on that radio show back in the '40s when the guy said that he was denouncing it, the UFO landed,
right.
And you know what I'm talking about?
War of the Worlds, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You know how everybody panicked? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I think they would do the same thing. I think these Christians are going to have a rude awakening.
It's funny though. I think they'll try to say, "Oh, they're demons," and you're being fooled by the devil, and that's I think the angle that most Christians or
I've got
super religious
email.
people would go to. Go ahead. You got an email?
I got an email a while back saying that he was telling me that the government is going to, when God comes back, they're going to take all these people, and the government's going to say it was the aliens that did it instead of, I've gotten some strange emails.
That's not that far off. Are you familiar at all with William Cooper?
Who?
William Cooper.
No.
Oh, you really have been out of the loop, my friend. William Cooper, very famous, passed away. He was shot by government officials in his home. William Cooper wrote a book a long time ago called "Behold a Pale Horse." You never heard of that book either? That's just
no, but I'm sure my girlfriend that's listening has.
If she has the book, if she's read the book, if you can get your hands on the book, it's a great read. There's a lot of stuff in there that deals with the government, and one of the things he talked about was a conspiracy agenda that the government had to, I guess, play out a fake scenario, alien abduction or alien invasion on Earth, and it would be all done just for the agenda of creating the New World Order, and it would be a completely fake invasion, something staged by them. Do you think that could be that what might be happening here? That all the reports, everything that's been going on, it's all been just mind manipulation, mind control, getting us ready for a one world government, all done by the government itself. Bill Cooper died in the hands of the government. He was a very controversial person. I know you're not familiar with him, but if you look at William Cooper and what he wrote and what he did on radio and the book and all the stuff he did, very, very intriguing person. And the fact that he died the way he died adds a little bit of validity to what he was talking about. But I really do think that there is some truth to that, because I see how the government and through the media have been manipulating the subject over the last 20 years to the point, like we said earlier, they make the Greys look either like bad guys, like good guys, but at the same time, they're giving you the Greys, are giving you that particular alien all the time, and I think there's a reason for it.
Well, like the CIA wrote that thing a few months ago about there's no aliens in Area 51. Like they're really going to admit there's something there,
Right. Well, for a long time, remember they said there was no Area 51 to begin with.
Yeah.
So just the fact that they came forward and finally admitted that there was an Area 51, that's a step in the positive in the right direction. Now the next thing will be like, well, yeah, we also have a couple saucers in there that we either they back engineered or they found in a crash, or look, there's a good chance that a lot of that stuff came from Nazi Germany. Also, I've had people talk about that on the show here, where they believe that the Nazis were working on alien technologies from individuals from another planet that they communicated with via some kind of a psychic link or something that supposedly, it's a convoluted story, but there's a lot of people that believe that the Nazis were working on this stuff. And of course, after we went into Germany, we defeated Hitler. What did we do? We took all the Nazi scientists and made them Americans. We brought them over, and they all worked. And guess what? The reason we went to the moon was because of the Nazi technology.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
I think a lot of that has a lot to play. Also, there could be a chance that the saucer, even that crashed at Roswell, might have been a Nazi test experiment or something like that. Some kind of a Nazi saucer that we back engineered and we made work, and then it just crashed because that's what happens when you test like things. They crash at first until you get it right. Until you figure out how all the things work, and you filter out all the bugs and everything. That's a possibility, isn't it?
Sorry, I just blew a fuse and don't know how I blew it. My light just went out.
Oh, you can see. This is because we're talking about Nazi UFOs and Nazi aliens.
I know the only light, fuse went out was the bedroom.
Uh-oh. Hey, I've seen a couple horror movies that start that way. Guy on the phone, lights go out. Next thing you know, you're being abducted again. It's never never ends well, these movies.
As soon as Yvonne Smith was finished, I'll come back on your show and talk about the book.
Yeah, no, you do have a book on the way. You're officially writing a book.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it'll be on the website when the cover's on there already, but it'll be on the website when it's out.
Very cool. Now, on the book, you're going to cover the Travis stuff also, or just your personal experiences? It's
my life experience. It's
your life experience?
About me. Of course, Travis is in it because he's part of it. So,
gotcha.
That's only one chapter.
Oh wow, that's all Travis has been condensed to is one chapter. That's a pretty.
Yeah, I put Travis just in one little chapter.
I'm sure he's amused by that.
I mentioned him maybe twice.
I'm sure Travis is amused by that. Such an important event, and it just gets one chapter in your life story.
Well, he got 3 books out, so.
That's true. That's true. Now, listen, Steve. It's a pleasure to have you had you on the show here and getting your side of what happened that night and stuff. And I definitely want to have you back on when the book is ready. I'm dying to read it, man. Send me a copy. I want to read the book and see everything that's going on.
Well, I have one left of the original. I made a few originals, but now I've got a publisher, and we're going to change the book. So
very cool.
Send me your address, and I'll send you when you can read it.
Awesome. I'd love to read that. Again, the website is stevepierce.soundfuturesdirect.com. Everybody, please go to the website there and check out the book when it comes out. When is there an official release date, Steve? Do you know?
About two more months, maybe.
2 more months?
Yeah, a couple more months.
Very cool. Now you're going to be in Roswell again. When is the conference going to be up there?
It's the 4th of July weekend. I have it posted here. I have it posted here in a couple weeks.
Very nice, very nice. Steve, man, we're all out of time. Thank you so much for being here. I really did appreciate having you on the show, and happy to finally get to speak to you and get your side of the whole thing. And again, look forward to having you back on very near in the near future, sometime early next year, so we can put that together and let your lady know that I'd love to have her on the show also. I know she's a person of interest now.
Okay, all right. But hey, thank you for having me, and just let me know, and I'll come back on.
Sounds good, my friend. Talk to you soon.